We're back.
We're back. We had our players meeting. I know we just bragged about everybody that did well at Nationals, but we did not realize that Charles Dunn is also here.
The champion himself.
So, national champion, the smartest brain in America, is here to put his test of the Living Legend format.
Did he build a fatiguing Living Legend deck? That's
He's like,
question.
I brought Briar just the way I had it. I don't care about any of y'all. I'm going to do it all over again. 3 for 7, 3 for 7, 3 for 7, 3 for 7. Just everyone's going to go, I don't know if 3 for 7 is good enough today, but.
I don't think it is, because there's Awakening.
Awakening is, I'll go ahead and say Awakening is one of my least favorite cards of, are you getting ahead on your opponent, you're beating them up, and then they just go, my next card's free.
Yeah, no, it's widespan. I mean,
right.
it just wins the game.
That's widespan.
I mean,
there's nothing more to say.
Like, it's.
Meanwhile, when we were off stream, somebody opened up a box of bright lights. I don't know if this is interesting, but it is like, I've been kind of down on how many Majestics are in a box, but I got 9 in one box, which is pretty crazy. So we got some slot cards, we got a Marvel, Tome of the Imperial Edicts or whatever, the Marvel Atom Breaker. So you know what? Go buy a box of bright lights. Maybe you'll be surprised at what you get.
This is the content that people came to see.
Yeah. Oh well, they haven't started yet. They haven't started yet. What the heck?
We're filling time.
Oh my goodness. What else would you fill time with if you had to fill time with something?
Nothing better than that.
Okay.
Maybe you'd open a box and then I'd talk some trash to you, showing your cards.
Yeah, maybe you talk trash. TikTok clock. Why is this card good? It blows up your opponent's Nitro Mechanoid, right?
All right. So for all the people watching, put in chat what hero you think is going to win today.
The whole thing. By the way, we didn't say how many players. We got 18 to 19. So there's a little bit less, but I think there's the idea of untested format, unproven thing. Maybe I'm going to save it because I want to save my godlike Living Legend deck for when I can actually win it all in Barcelona. Anthony Pham's going to be on the broadcast. Oh. I don't think these are the right decks yet. Don't read into those.
We got Alan Lube, and we got Evan.
Who's Evan?
Some guy.
Some guy playing Lexi.
He's the guy who thinks Lexi is strong enough.
Which I think we're going to, Alan, prove what you were saying earlier of...
Is Alan going to be Starvo?
Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to Starvo all over the place. OG Briar kills Starvo in Prism, says that guy in chat.
See, that's that. Yeah, can we get a Lightning Briar type? Now, Briar is errata still. So it's not like...
You can't make 7 embodiments of Earth anymore?
You can still hit her.
Okay. When you went to the OG Nationals, how many embodiments of Earth could Briar have? Was it unlimited?
Infinite.
How did that feel as a player not playing Briar into that meta?
Terrible. It was absolutely horrible because you couldn't... how do you attack back? So, talk about pivot turns. It's like, oh, I'm going to take damage so I can finally do damage. And then if you took damage, you couldn't do damage. So it really, really led towards
they could block with Force of Nature and block 8.
Yep. We got some trolls in the chat thinking Riptide's going to win.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, he is a living legend, but
just in a different way.
Yeah.
It is kind of frustrating. I thought we were going to not see Lexi, and here's Lexi round 1, but...
Taylor says a Runeblade. I
think
think
just
that's
gets
a good
absolutely
guess.
Obliterated. Let's see if we got some main match lookers here.
There we go. Here we go.
Yes.
Alan
Hermione on stream. Ooh, Starvo. I guess Bravo Star of the Show is actually what his name is.
It is Bravo Star of the Show. His name is not actually Starvo.
Wait, we got to click this button first so you can see how hot Starvo is.
He's a stud.
Ooh.
He's the original Chad.
There's people trapezing behind him. And then in Lexi, it's just the night sky.
Look at he's got the, some nice jewelry going on.
Mm-hmm.
The drip.
What do they call the piece on your shoulder blade? Is that a carapace, right? Or no?
Epaulette? I don't know.
Oh, Typana sleeves versus Soraya sleeves. Very interesting.
The question is, does Evan have tar pit trap? We watched him shuffling earlier. We did not see one, but maybe he sandbagged it.
I don't know if we should explain everything about Evan, but this is what I know. He said he's going to go with a 42 card main deck and then add 18 cards in from a sideboard for each matchup, whether it's aggressive or control.
Yeah. So, I mean, so talking about Starvo a bit, I know he is infamous, but maybe for people who didn't play during the Starvo meta, he can play, at the time, there was kind of two different builds for him. There was what was known as Casino Starvo, which was a lot of 2 blocks, a lot of really crappy elemental like draft cards,
Right.
just to trigger his ability as much as possible, and just smash. And then there was like very defensive builds that kind of cycle 1 would try to pitch stack to create a kind of guarantee their fuses late game and live that long. So, I think everybody's assuming it's going to be a more aggressive strategy for Living Legend, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
When you were playing Starvo back in the day, you had a yellow defense reaction in your deck.
For a minute, for one event, I did try. I wanted more sink belows, because I was trying to play the longer game. I hadn't bought into the full casino strategy yet, so I was looking to filter my hand, try to get the extra redraws to get all 3 elements, and it worked pretty much. I ended up losing in the finals with that deck.
That was against Sean Ho or something?
No, that was against Adam Feifels here,
who is playing today, by the way.
Who is still one of my most memorable moments in all of Flesh and Blood. I thought I was about to win the game. I had hit him with a Crippling Crush non-fused, and I had set up. My next hand was a Oaken Old fused, and he blocked. And he had used his crown, blocks with like all his armor, and goes down to 3 cards, which I'm like, no 3-card hand. I don't even care. He can hit me with whatever. I kind of forgot there's one 3-card hand that can do it, which is the Lightning card, Pulse of Eisenloft, and Oaken Old.
Jeez,
allows you to double fuse the Oaken Old off a 3-card hand, and he pivoted there, and I lost the game. And I was like,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Also, for somebody who's brand new, the hero power for Bravo, star of the show, or as we'll refer to him the rest of the broadcast, Starvo, is you have a lightning card, an earth card, and an ice card at the beginning of your turn. Show them to your opponent. Your next guardian attack or any attack over 2 costs.
It's any attack over 3 costs. 3 or more gets +2, go again, and dominate.
Which is disgusting. And if we think about the thematic of why that's true, lightning gives the go again.
Yep.
Earth gives the +2.
Yep.
Ice,
gives
because
the dominate.
of Shiver and some other ice cards, all mess around with dominate.
Yeah, and actually there's the Weave cards, right? Weave Ice. And that in Aria there was Weave Ice, Weave Earth, and Weave Lightning, and the fuse on those was the same
right
type thing. The play pattern that really leads to is, you show the cards, then you can do a giant attack with go again, then you can pitch the ice card to swing your Winter's Wail for 4, giving them a frostbite, and have 1 card left to arsenal.
So your first attack's going to come anywhere from 10 to
like
13 damage, and then Winter Wail on the back end.
So yeah, usually like 9, right? You're going to have the 3 for 7s. So the 3 for 7s turn into 9, 3 for 9, go again, dominate.
Jeez.
So you can see Alan. Oh, Alan's taking already. We're seeing interest. Like
Civic Steps.
Look at the route he's going. He's got no Crown of Seeds.
Okay.
He's got no Tunic. Right. So he's playing a Fridge. To attempt to
no attack because we don't
block
want
out
to filter,
turn.
I guess.
Yep, and get out his channel.
Are you excited for Civic Steps, or you know all about those yet?
Yeah, so I mean, they got to be better than Iron Rot, I think.
And Evan starts off with a 3 of a kind because he goes, yeah, I'm going to get as many cards as I want for this, which helps during a Channel Lake Frigid turn because everything he does this turn will cost 1 more.
So Alan does not have a lightning card, as far as I can tell. So
Which isn't Crown of Seeds.
no, I'm sorry, he does have a lightning. I don't think he has an ice.
That was another reason why Starvo was strong is you could pitch to use your Crown of Seeds to try and get another card that could maybe do your hero power.
Yeah, 100%. So, and like the math on, you know, what percentage of turns you're going to get the Starvo effect when you draw that extra card versus don't, it goes up considerably. Given what Alan's doing, he's probably going to just defend out for a bit when he doesn't have it. And kind of wait for it.
And I think it's interesting because obviously Alan is playing Crown of Seeds in his list. He's just choosing not to play against Lexi. So I'm guessing there's the idea of you don't really want to be pitching a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Whenever there's going to be four arrows of pressure on your non-channel like frigid turns.
Yep. Well, you can also see like, oh, that's pretty good. You know, he's running Stalagmite, so he's probably going to run Stalagmite and the Crown of Providence together. And he does have the Spring Tunic, so he's got kind of 2 setups. He's got his fridge setup, which is this, where he's going to just kind of be looking for turns to pivot. He's almost playing Bravo with this setup. And then he's got
Disruption, Bravo, extra.
You know, if we see him again, I'm guessing against certain heroes, he's going to swap out all 3 pieces and run Rampart, Crown, Tunic in other matches.
And honestly, that turn was the most I've seen Evan squirm in his seat instead of immediately doing something. So Lexi's not having fun. She just took 4 damage from a Spinal Crush. So there will be no go again here. So it's just shoot an arrow or pass at this point.
So Alan has it. He has 3 elements and a Warmonger. So that's interesting. So he is playing 3 Warmongers.
2 Awakening, too. Both players are playing the full amount of Hypothermia, so I think that's what they're going to be using throughout the day to stop some of these major aggressive decks.
Yeah.
But Heat Seeker is still a pain in the ass, even if it's just 1 cost.
Oh, I guess he didn't have it. I'm sorry. I thought that was a nice card.
Which is fine. We see,
he's just going to Warmongers and Arsenal his Break Ground, I think, probably, or Evergreen.
Flash, 3 Flash. Is that something you did in Starvo all the time?
Flash you had to play. So Flash gives your next card that costs 2 or less. Go again. You just need, like, the lightning cards that you have at your disposal are not great.
Right. We see the Warmonger happen. I think Evan chose, if he's touching his hero power, that means he chose Peace, which he's just going to try to build up a 6-card hand and say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Now, I respect him for moving the Bravo forward, but the move you're supposed to do is flip it over.
We have our first Bravo activation of the day using Pulse of Volthaven and an extra Earth card. That is going to turn on Bravo's hero power. So here is
now, unfortunately,
the sauce coming.
That's an Oakenold in his hand, right? But he can't. Wait, he can fuse it. Why isn't he?
He's going to play this one instead. He's going to save the Oakenold for a future turn because this is Dominate, and then he can put this on the bottom of his deck because it's Evergreen, correct?
He's going to not. Oh, okay.
Then Pulsehaven gives 4 to his next elemental attack, which does work on the Winner's Well, which is kind of gross.
And he's giving 2 Frostbites.
That's disgusting.
Right? No, Pulsehaven does not give a Frostbite. No. I'm sorry. It's been a while.
But if you hate Lexi, let's go! 15 damage done to Lexi without any damage back is pretty freaking good. Frostbite for disruption, but I think Evan's like, okay, I have a 6-card turn here. Or no, he blocked with 2 cards.
He has 4 cards, but like, here's the thing. Look at Alan's armor.
Yeah, how are you going to get through all of this disruption and
does not.
Fridge?
And look, so this is what's cool about Starvo, right? Like, okay, so his hand is not great for doing anything. So what's he gonna do? He can just play Guardian. He can just block and swing hammer, block and do nothing. He can't block with that blink, that's for sure.
Evan squirming around. This is a card you want to block out because you don't want to get recursion abilities for the Lexi player. I think in the chat somebody mentioned hypothermia is super gross with civic steps because you give your opponent a quicken token,
And then you
but
drop
then
it.
they can't use
Yeah,
it that next turn.
totally.
Your opponent will probably just choose to do nothing and save it for later. But that's pretty good. That's a pretty good synergy for Starvo. Which I think Starvo, why did he fast track the LL faster than anybody in the world? It's just all of his cards synergize together and do things that you didn't expect them to do.
Yeah, well, and really like his hero ability from a like values, like how many points it's gonna give you, right? Two damage, go again, and dominate. Let's say go again and dominate is one each. So let's say it's like 4 extra points per turn. Like and if let's say you get it 2/3 of the time. So let's say it's like verse 3 a turn.
Right.
Well, who else is doing that? Like the accrual value over a game is just
Yeah, my hero power says look at the
absurd.
top card of my opponent's deck when I play contract.
Yeah.
Like
Not as
my hero power says don't kill yourself with blood death.
yeah.
Like there's other heroes that are just better. Alan's let the endless arrow hit twice now though,
I don't think he cares.
because he's probably got something super. I mean, he's got a crippling crush in hand, which is disgusting.
Yeah. So he can't. Sadly, he can't block with his um, blink. So he's probably just going to play the Warmongers, hold on to the blink. Oh, interesting.
Interesting. He is just doing value on this one right now. Just swinging a 7. 3 for 7. Works all the time. Of course, Oakenold is one of the strongest cards in your deck when you have the full support behind it. Because if there was a pulse of the other one, Isenloft, this would turn into a +2, and if this hits your opponent,
The interesting thing here is, right, Evan's not playing Trench, which is amazing. So I guess in Living Legend, he thinks Tunic's good. And he didn't have a face-up Arsenals, and I think I would have played the Warmongers there and saved the Oakenold. But Alan is a beast. I can never beat him, so he probably knows better than me.
I think that's something of he seems like why is Alan so much better than everyone? If you had to say for people at home,
He
does he understand the game more than we could ever deem?
he does Bravo math very well, and he's been doing it for a long time now. And so yeah, it's just mastering your hero. I'd be curious if he played Starvo. Um, I have a feeling this is fairly new for him.
Interesting.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I haven't. Yeah, I don't remember him being around at this point.
Yeah.
Down this down far south, Cal.
Yeah,
More
so I don't know
NorCal
if
at that point.
so I don't know if he was blasting people with Starvo back then or not.
But I would go ahead and say Alan is probably a top 5 Bravo player in the world.
He's up there for
And
sure.
if you give him more options of
Yeah.
now you can also enlist, or you can't enlist winner, but you can Oaken Old and Channel Lake Frigid somebody on top of your Bravo deck. I think that's something where
Yeah.
we're probably watching one of our top 8 right here with Alan.
And it might be one of these situations where like he's just so I think he's just so favored. It doesn't even matter. Right? Like Lexi got good. Granted she got new cards, but like, it was after Winter's Whale was banned in Oldham, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alan's got, all the goods with a Winter's Whale, and then just the backup of the Starvo ability. He's like, oh, look, I can Blizzard you.
But Starvo never had to deal with Codex of Frailty.
Yeah, bummer.
It doesn't do anything because his Arsenal's full, but maybe a frailty token will take both 1 point off the winner's well and whatever he has in Arsenal. Here comes an infecting shot. Not a card you can just not care about because it's going to do 7 points of damage if you don't interact with it.
Yeah. The fun part about Starvo is when you don't have it, your turns are so bad, you don't even feel bad about blocking because you're like, I'm going to block with a flash and a Heaven's Claw. You know?
Right.
It's like, there's...
Those were not cards that I needed to win against my opponent. Yeah. When are they making cold foil Heaven's Claws for all the Starvo players?
Oh my gosh, Judge Pack 3.
Yeah, hopefully. Heavy hitters in the slot for that card. What do you think Alan is thinking about whenever he sees arrows?
I don't...
This is boring. Who cares?
He's trying to figure out if he's going to Blizzard or not. Yeah.
We do have someone from NorCal saying, yes, Alan did play Starvo back.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Evan is not just a trench guy. Evan is the trench guy.
yeah. TTG trademark almost. The trench guy. He almost got merch made, but then he lost against that guy at Battle. No, it was the Sunday tournament that he lost. Drawing 4 cards from Soraya. What does she give him? That looks like an Earth card.
He's got a pull.
Pulse. That's going to be gross. But here's a channel like Frigid.
But that's Eisenloft. I think he's still lightning free.
Because whenever we flip a card up, if it's an ice card, my hero power gives my opponent a frostbite. But then he just passes.
He got warmongered. So he couldn't, he chose Peace.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's one thing I think that's hard. Even I screwed it up as a player. I'm going to screw it up as a commentator, I think, of don't forget your warmongers, because it's not easy to see, because we don't have any... I don't want to hear everything the players are saying, but it would be nice to know if like they chose war or peace instead of just guessing 5 seconds later. We'll have to get one of those metal fab tokens that say war or peace, because I think one side had Bolton on it and the other side had somebody doing healing balm or something. I don't know. 30-16. I don't think I've seen Lexi lose this bad before in my entire life. Feels good, or at least for not the last year. But now Evan has a 6-card hand, and he's going to go for it. Icequake says +3 to my next time, and then anytime I hit you with an attack action card, we're going to give you more frostbites. Does Starvo care about frostbites?
No. Especially, like, look at Alan's not using Crown of Seeds, right? Like, I mean, sure, he does care, but... Like, not this hand. He doesn't have it. The other thing he could do, he just drew Awakening. So if he wants, since he doesn't have it, and Evan's going bananas, he goes, okay, hit me for 7, hit me for 5, I'll go down to 11, I'll fuse my Awakening and get a Pulverize and hit you for 14 for free.
Yeah. Would you choose Pulverize out of everything else?
Maybe not. Maybe Crippling Crush is better. I don't know.
There is one Pulverize in Alan's deck.
Yeah, for that reason. Like the one Pulverize is what's cool about Awakening, right? Is it's like you can play like toolbox, right? You can tutor up a Starstruck or a Pulver, like whichever one is the best for the scenario.
We are giving equipment to block this last Bolton shot. Civic Step says whenever you do block with this, give a hero that's not yourself a Quicken token, so he has to choose Lexi. So it's used for PV, or not PvP, what do we call that? Party fab, round the table fab.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can use it in this. We're going to go ahead and Starstruck.
So Starstruck's pretty good, right? Like Evan has to 3-card block it to do anything. So he probably 2-card blocks it. He gets struck.
Because he would have to shoot
or
a 5
three,
damage arrow at that point.
yeah, which he could do. Um,
Couldn't make it to a wedding due to a wedding, but I miss playing Starvo. If people miss playing Starvo, should they consult a doctor, or is that a
I
normal?
miss playing Starvo.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm that guy. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I think that was the one time where I brought a Starvo deck to like my Tuesday. I was tired of losing to it, and then doing it to other people. It was just like I feel icky.
It felt icky at like armory level,
Mm-hmm.
but like when you were in a world of prisms and chains, it didn't feel and skeleton viscerize. Like
Right.
he didn't. He felt like he was fighting on the same. He was obviously. I don't even know if he's better. He didn't even win the Pro Tour.
Yeah, he didn't even win a Pro Tour. What the heck? Bring him back. If you're anti-Lexi, don't look at the score though, because Evan went from down by like 15 to now only down by 3, which is kind of crazy.
Alan's getting the love in chat. This man is a hero.
How many times do you watch his YouTube channel?
Should I lie and say a lot?
No, I watched it once, and I built his Bravo deck for last ProQuest season because it did make a lot of sense. I just didn't play it near as much as the level he did.
Yeah.
So I went 3-3, but felt like a good idea when he was saying it.
No, his
he's good
decks
at making people believe.
No, his decks are great, but you gotta play them well.
Some people can't play anything.
I mean, not that you can't play well, but like he plays it very well. Man, that Warmongers versus.
Because how much does Starvo care about Warmongers?
He doesn't care at all. He has no.
He's not going to really use non-attack actions at all, right?
I mean,
Maybe channel like
only on your So Lake Fridge is good, and then only on your worst turns where you're like, I drew junk and I'm gonna like hit you with the Winter's Wail, and they're like, oh cool, he's only swinging for 4, and then you're like blink. I guess you can even blink because it's an instant.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't play flash. Like that's like it.
Right. No flash.
And no
No
pulse of
channel like
candle
frigid.
hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulse of Candlehold is so good in Starvo too, because you can go grab more Oaken Olds and then the thing to fuse them with that you're missing from your hand.
Yeah. What we're seeing here, though, I think, this is interesting, right? So he went with this fridge strategy, which appears to be working, but it's also forcing him into like playing a, when I was talking about casino versus more control, like he's playing a more controlling defensive strategy with this. Like he's fused once.
Right.
And I think that's
and honestly, that turn wasn't like oppressively crazy.
No. You can't really underestimate how powerful the Crown of Seeds effect is to making it, getting it more consistently. Even at I think it was Nick Butcher and that Team Dragon Shield that brought to Jersey with the Eye of Ophidia, and then that kind of became a staple for the last month before he Living Legend out, because like anything to get more higher percentages is pretty good. He's trying to get it right here. He's like, come on, baby.
So Stalagmite, explain to everyone what Stalagmite does to your opponent, because it's so good. 2 times a game.
So when you block with it, before reacts, it's going to instantly put a trigger to put a frostbite on your opponent's side. So it can completely throw off their math, and often, even though it's blocking for 1 or 2, save you 5, 6, 7, 10 damage depending on, how their resources line up.
It's pretty much like, oh, you remember your Scowling Fleshbag for...
Yeah.
Do an effect that's kind of like that, a little worse,
but
do it twice a game. It's pretty. That's a pretty good card.
It's a pretty good card.
That's why it's legendary. That was an Everfest.
Yeah. Then there was a lot of, in the Starvo meta, there was a lot of argument about Stalagmite versus Rampart. That was
I
like,
remember that.
that's what the internet got to fight over for months.
How did he get go again on the Heatseeker? I think he had a quicken token from the Civic Steps. And that's a
Yep.
thing that maybe you haven't seen before. Not sure if it was used earlier. Alan ended up blocking all of those arrows -3 damage with just equipment, which was pretty sick. So that way he could pull off the crippling crush.
Yeah, and you can see, right, he got the inertia token, so he wanted to get rid of the his arsenal, and he was still able to crippling.
We're gonna
Evan
block
has
at
to
least
block
8.
out.
I think he blocked. He just took 2 damage, so he blocked
Yeah.
9. What can he do with 1 card? Winner's Bite. I'm gonna basically.
This is Starvo at its finest. It's just complete junk. Junk hand. So I've been trying to watch, but I haven't paid enough attention to if Alan's like heavily stacking for a second cycle here.
I'm gonna
doesn't-
guess because it's Alan. Yes.
He must be.
Ooh, Codex of Frailty is gonna get some value here because we're gonna get rid of a card from our opponent's hand, making it harder to block. But giving Starvo another heavy threat for his arsenal is probably not the smartest idea relative to other heroes. Like, other heroes can't really use. I mean, everyone can go grab their best attack action, but sometimes it's just command and conquer.
Right.
He can grab
He's got,
crippling crush. Or
yeah. He's only got a few good attacks as a. You know. Oh, interesting. So wait. I don't.
Because does he have the fuse in hand for that already?
He doesn't.
Which maybe he doesn't have any more effects that puts the arsenal on the bottom of his deck anymore.
I guess
either.
since he knew he was not doing anything this turn, get the best card. Oakenold is the best thing.
It's the cheapest thing that does the best disruption.
Yeah.
Because it was designed for Oldham instead of maybe it was designed for Starvo too, but Oldham.
He's got it. He's got it.
So this is where the tide's going to turn on Evan, and he doesn't know how bad he has it right now. He needs to do a 4. You can't do 4 arrows, can you? Maybe 3 arrow turn.
But
Ooh, that's
the
a
sleep dart.
I guess sleep dart. Who cares? Because he has it in hand anyway for a different effect. Sleep dart.
But no, sleep dart matters, right?
It just means you can't use your hero power.
Oh, right. He can still give it dominate. But I think he's got.
And I think this is where the fridge strategy comes in of I'm going to be blocking and saving. All he needs is 2 of those cards in his hand to do something gross to Evan.
Yeah, so unfortunately he has to give up the Starvo fuse. Now an interesting, I keep thinking I'm mixing up sleep dart with fatigue shot.
Ooh, do 2 extra damage.
The funny thing though, right, is it's almost a bait. Oh no, he still have it. Sorry, he has the pulse for it. So.
But now he probably needs to block this.
He can still just do Oakenold fused, like like Oldham, like us,
Right.
Honest people.
Looking at the top card of his deck, it is a whiff into that from the quiver. Hate to see that if you're rooting for Lexi, but why are you rooting for Lexi? Let's go Alan Luber.
So we hate Lexi so much that we're actually rooting for.
I think it's
her
who has beaten you lately.
Yeah, Starvo over her. I never thought I'd see a day where anybody rooted for Starvo.
This is Oakenold. We are pitching and then fusing. This is an ice card, and then half of this is an earth card. Oakenold, for everyone at home, this is going to come in for a 9 damage. It's going to be dominated, and if it does a single point of damage, Lexi will have to choose 2 of her cards at random to put on the bottom of her deck.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And Briar is errated, so
just 1 embodiment of Earth per turn.
All cards are legal, but Briar is post errata. He
said, "Let me get an arrow finally." That's probably a smart idea because There's a lot of 0-cost arrows that he could shoot next turn, even if he doesn't have anything.
Yeah. That way he blocks. It doesn't lose any cards out of hand.
This is pretty smart. Like, Lexi can get around negative things. Like, back in the day, Lexi didn't have a lot of these. Didn't have Trench. Obviously, we're not using Trench right now. But didn't have Codex. Didn't have other things that have trained Lexi players how to deal with disruption of...
Real quick on that, sorry, but just something to point out. So Alan's, it's like, what the heck is he doing? He just hit him with an Oak and Old. He's got 2 cards in hand. So he has the Starvo fuse off the 2 cards, right? He has the Pulse plus an Ice. So now it's like, this is it's like a conundrum. Do you Arsenal one of these, or do you save it? And the one you don't want to Arsenal the Pulse because it's 2 elements. You don't want to Arsenal the Winter's Bite because you have no Crown of Seeds and it eats your arsenal. And this is a man who just hit somebody with an Oak and Old and looks
like he got hit by it.
Yeah, like he got hit by it. So it's kind of funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sleep Dart hit, but that was... Yeah, we're talking about for next week or whatever. Next turn.
Right? Yeah.
Because he can survive both these arrow hits.
Now, here's why I like what he did, and because it actually happened. The problem with specifically Pulse of Candlehold is it's an Earth card, but it's your only Earth card that's not an attack. So you can actually have the Starvo ability and then not have an attack to use it on, and it's exactly what would have happened had he held it.
So Alan's smarter than us, or smarter than me. You knew about that.
Yeah.
What would you have done that scenario?
I would have arsenaled the Pulse. Okay. There are times where you hold it, but generally I find it's too greedy.
Don't be greedy. We know that this was coming in.
Yep.
Does he have a defense reaction?
He's got a Blizzard.
The Blizzard will stop him in his tracks, but that card goes back into his hands.
And now Alan's going to do everybody's favorite play. A channel into a Frosty Hammer.
Oof. And then Evan's going to have enough stuff.
Or he's going to Winter's Bite into channel and guarantee 2 cards.
Winter's Bite. Does he have a 3rd tunic, or that tunic says 2 on it? That tunic says 2. We're going to have to pitch the hamstring shot. Anytime we're pitching red arrows, not great. Candlehold, what are you going to grab if you're Alan right now?
You get that, and you probably get... You can only get Earth or... Yeah, that's
Elemental
fair.
attacks, yeah.
Well, Earth, Lightning. You can't get Ice, basically.
Okay. I guess all of the Elemental Guardian cards, none of them are... You're not even running Ice attacks, are you?
I mean, you have...
Maybe
He
Winter's
has Winter's Red. You're not wanting to attack with them. You might be running Frostfang.
But no damage goes across the chain link for Alan that turn.
No, he's just trying to defend here.
Which, the fridge is gone. It's only 4 cards. How many people have died with 4 cards when Evan only has to do 5? Like, hundreds of people have died here. Can Alan figure it out?
Well, Alan has Awakening and an Earth card. So, assuming Evan can't... He can go down to 1 here and swing back for 14.
Channel Lake Frigid is going to put in some work this turn for Alan, though.
This is pretty funny. Alan's still only Starvoed once.
And I think some people maybe in chat are like, isn't it crazy that Lexi can keep up with Starvo like this? Even back in the day, if Starvo only is getting 1 or 2 interactions a game, I could keep up with it as Rydar.
Yeah.
And some other people can keep up with it. It is a thing of you need to get your casino going, or you can lose a game against anybody in the format probably.
Yep.
Because you don't have the dominates from... If you're not getting your casino power going, or let's just say Starvo's hero power going, you also don't have Bravo's hero power. And Bravo needs that hero power to do a lot of heavy work at the end of the games. So it makes sense that If you're not using your hero power, you could probably lose a game.
Yeah, which is might be what's happening here.
Plus, I think all these people are doing this type of stuff for the first time.
This
So
is.
there's theory that's on paper, and then
Yeah.
there's actually showing up against some of the best players in SoCal and testing your paper theories.
Yeah, and some of the best players in the world, and definitely the #1 player in the United States this year. So we got.
Thank God I'm in this room, you
I
know?
know that's why I chickened out.
Yeah, what would you have brought, though?
Oh, I would have brought Starvo.
Oh, okay.
I was actually. I would be excited to play in this.
Why? You just take 4 here if you're Evan, right? There's no chance you die. You get your whole hand. Channel Lake Fridge is dead, and you have 5 cards to kill someone with 3 health. Just take 4.
Evans? I don't.
Evan's going to be so obnoxious if he wants this. Dang it! People are probably like, you should have used mute button on that. No, I hope Evan loses.
We're allowed to say this because Evan's also wearing the
yeah.
pink purple shirt. You know,
He bummed a
he's
ride.
family.
It was all kinds of stuff like that. We got people calling in saying, somebody go punch Evan in the face so he can't win.
I can't.
No, they didn't.
I
say
can't
that.
tell how much Evan's deck looks pretty thin from here.
He's taking the damage. He believes he can win on this turn. If Evan doesn't kill Alan on this turn, I think he'll probably lose. So let's go ahead and say this is the game. Fingers crossed. Oh, there's a walkie-talkie that we could mess with him.
Alan's hand blocks well, so that's good. He's got all 3 blocks.
Infecting Shot is pretty good. He's doing his Eye of Ophidia. You may say, what is he doing? That is a Chilling Ice Vein. That is his Eye of Ophidia that he got checked with our judge earlier, because his Eye of Ophidia is so curled that he could cut to it 5 times, so he did not want to get DQ'd. We're going to send out the Inertia Shot. What is the actual word that it says on it?
What's the actual
Sedation.
shot? Yeah.
Sedation Shot goes across, is blocked immediately. Can we shoot both of these arrows?
Alan's dead.
Damn. Evan said, I don't care who you bring or what kind of thought process you have of who the best deck is here. I'm going to bring Lexi and beat whoever you got.
His next hand, he had prepped it up. He couldn't get there.
Because he never shuffled. Alan never shuffled his deck.
No, he
Because
did not.
Candlehold puts it on top without
Yep.
shuffling.
And he pitched both the Awakenings.
So if you're wondering what happened, Alan did take 4 damage, so he'll go down to -1, which will kill Starvo. And Lexi has a 1-0 record. I would say this is probably her worst matchup in this format. So if Starvo can't kill her, who can kill her?
That's a good question. Nobody.
If Evan 6-0s this, we just LL this character right now. Chris Ayali's smiling. I guess he smiles when he loses though too. So I don't know if he won or lost.
Starvo is washed.
If you're wondering how many people do we have today and what are they playing?
Oh, we
Here
did
you
have a bunch
go.
of Starvos.
6 people playing Starvo. Yeah, you did. This was a great day for you to come into the booth. Somebody else got you. 1 Icelander. Who's that? That doesn't seem like a good play against all these Starvos. SOAL.
As opposed to the new Prism.
Yeah, so Sculptor of Arclight.
Yeah.
That took me a second.
I wasn't gonna get there. I'm sitting there. What the heck was her name?
3 Prisms here, 3 Phis, 2 Lexis. There's a second Lexi? 2 Viscerae. I know exactly who those people are.
Do you know who's missing from this list?
There's somebody else you thought was going to come around?
Yeah, yeah. Chat's got it.
No Chain?
Where the heck is Chain?
I think all the people that I'm gonna get some hate on this comment. All the people that brain deadly played Chain are gonna brain deadly play Phi quicker.
Wow.
And I hope John Zapata I think is on Phi today.
What is Anthony Pham playing? I thought he would play Chain.
Maybe he's on Briar.
Oh, he's on Briar.
We got a lot of people that love these heroes, but there's a lot like. Let's go straight back to this metagame. So I have not played 5 of these heroes, but some of these people at this tournament have gone through the history of Fab and played these strong heroes.
Yep.
So it is something where you're like, I expected that person to be on Chain Summoner. I think of them as a Chain player, but then they spent the last year playing a Fi or playing Briar, and it is kind of like when you're 3 years into this game, do you have your favorite hero that you would play in a format like this forever, or are you always just going to show up with like your favorite deck, your best deck?
I would think for the first one, you would play like whatever. I don't know. If you played like through those metas and you played that hero in that meta, I think there's a good chance you bring it today.
Because as somebody who's played Bolton, Rhinar, Dorinthia, like we're not seeing any of those today. If I built a Living Legend deck, it would be something that I've not played for consistently because I play such crappy decks that it would be like I think I would probably try to build what is her name? Prism.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised all these are on Sculptor of Arclights because maybe the new one you can do some shenanigans with angels and also have the 1/1/1/1/1/1/1 attacks when you build up 8 spectral shields.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on if new one with Luminaris is better than old one. I don't know.
Right. Which maybe we should fly in Pablo Pintor to play Chain into this field.
Yeah.
What do you think based on this? I just keep switching back to the metagame because I'm just so intrigued by this. Charles Dunn is one of the 6 Starvos? Has to be.
I have to imagine. He loves his Guardians, and there's no other Guardians on the list.
No other Guardians on the list. Dromai we know is Zach. And I thought Lexi was going to be one of 2. I'm guessing Bryce is probably the other one.
That would make sense.
Bryce is very... Yeah. I will tell you, well, we could literally sometime between the next 20 minutes go and show you every deck list of who... Let's just do that right now. Just people that care about... Ryan Aldridge is on Fi. Andrew's on Prism. That makes sense.
I would have thought.
Aladdin's going to be Prism. Jacob is going to be the 3rd Prism. Haley's on Bravo. Marcus is on Bravo. Charles Dunn's on Bravo. Briggs is on Bravo. Angel is on Bravo. Mark Lewis. This says Aether Icevein.
Oh, he's the Icelander.
Mark Lewis is the Icelander, of course. He needs to remember that you can pop dragons with Phantasm.
Yeah.
Tell him that. Bryce and our friend Evan are on the Lexi. Zach Wallach is the Soul.
Dromai. He's never played anything but Dromai.
Anthony Pham is the Briar. That makes sense. And then our 2 Phantasmias.
We have Chris Ayali on Viscera. Who's the other Viscera?
Who's the other Viscera? Is it Adam?
Adam Feifels
Adam
is
Feifels.
on Viscera.
And then the missing 2 Fis that we're going to tell you. John Zapata is on Fi. And Anthony Del Taco Zicella is on Fi. So for everyone that's not SoCal, some of those may have been like, I don't know what you're saying at all. But like that makes sense to everybody that lives locally. I think that's an interesting tournament, too. Of it's less people. But once again, in SoCal, you're literally playing against 5 of the best people in the freaking country in your 18-person tournament. And you're like, can I breathe? Like, can I go have a fun Living Legend tournament first? Or am I going to lose to multiple battle... What is his name? John Zapata's top 8'd like 5 battle hardens around the world. And you're just like, I just want to breathe while I play my favorite deck from 2 years ago. We have 2 minutes to go. So we're going to go ahead and do round 2. We're going to get a new commentator who's fresh and ready to go. Colin Hahnemann, first time today. And we'll have somebody, maybe we'll play a Fi one of these times. We'll see what happens. We're going to go.